Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. And today I am working on a single page layout with some inspiration from this pin on my Pinterest board from urbanscrapbook.blogspot.canada. And if you were looking at it there, it has a zipper element, and yes, I am going to do a zipper element on my page. I've got this white piece of cardstock and I'm using that kind of as a template, or maybe not as a template, but as a test sheet to make sure I know what I'm doing before I tear into this lovely paper from Chamel. I am a little bit hesitant and kind of see that there. I double check it. I'm going to double check with my ruler that I'm making it the right length. So I really didn't want to mess it up because I, at this point, have only 2 sheets of this. I am going to need to order more because I love it very much. But at the moment, I didn't want to ruin it. So I was like, I need to make sure I do it right. So I'm just checking to see how long the tear in my paper needs to be and how wide I want the opening at the top of the zipper to be. And I used that white paper a bit like a template to make sure that I knew what I was doing before I just ripped right into it. So I am going to tape down my zipper with this horrible tape. It's not washi tape. I don't even know what you call it, but I'm trying to use it up. It's kind of like washi tape, but it is plasticky and kind of like rips really easily and does not hold very well. It's not nearly as pliable as a washi tape. And it's not even like Scotch tape, so I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to use it up for things like this, where it doesn't have to hold for very long, and maybe like to put over straggly ends of leftover thread when I sew on a layout and stuff like that. So anyway, what I'm doing here is I am just kind of using the back of, it's not really a stylus, I call it a pokey tool, but it's kind of got a rounded end on it, and I'm using it to kind of soften up the paper, loosen up the fibers so that it will fold back more easily. And I did sew my zipper in. I did that off camera because it's really hard to move my sewing machine over to my camera, where my camera is set up, because of the way it's plugged in. So I apologize that you didn't get to see that, but basically I just ran the sewing machine along between the zipper and where that tape was lined up. Now I used a piece of the 6x8 paper pad in that same green to put behind the zippered area, and then I'm using a whole bunch of adhesive to add this white paper behind it so that it doesn't come apart. And my main reason for that is because the 6x8 paper is it's spanning the opening there, but there's not a lot of it left to adhere to the back of the wood grain paper, especially right along the top where the opening is much larger. And so I wanted to make sure that it was held together. And then what happened here is that the green, or the wood grain paper, I kind of had pulled it a little bit too far open when I put it on the white paper, so it had a pucker in it, so I just had to reseat it so that it was flat, so there were no other puckers in the rest of the wood grain. So I'm thinking about putting my photo right here. Actually, I toyed with putting the photo into the zippered area, but I don't end up doing that. It's going to end up in the bottom right hand corner. I am using my ATG gun to go ahead and adhere this down. Later I do use some liquid glue, the Tonic Deluxe adhesive. I just put a little bit under there to hold it a little more securely, because over time I felt like the ATG gun is not going to hold it 100%. It is kind of tacked down there, but I wanted to make sure that it doesn't pop up in, you know, say a year or whatever. I don't know. So just to make sure it's totally secure. And then I'm playing with these green paint chip pieces, and those are just from the local hardware store. They've been sitting on my desk for ages, and decided to go ahead and use some of those to put behind my photograph. And I'm trimming them down. They're not really square. They've kind of got like a rounded top and a rounded bottom. or an arched bottom and an arched top, and I didn't want the arch and I didn't want so much green showing, so I just trimmed it down a bit. And then the paper that's below that, that has little leaves and ladybugs on it, and I want to make sure that there is one row of those on each side of my photograph. And I really like that. Most of everything on this layout, with the exception of the paint chip piece and the zipper, are all from Chamel's Never Grow Up collection, and I really love that collection. So I am basically documenting my grandson's love of the great outdoors, and in the photo he's just sitting at the base of a tree. He had been climbing around on the base of these trees for a while at the park. I took several pictures, and I just liked the way that this one came out and thought I definitely need to document it and use it. So there's not going to be a ton of journaling, and there's not even an actual title. I am going to, I call it I Love Trees. I will be switching out that piece that says I Love Trees for the green one. I do add a couple of navy blue pieces to each of the 3 areas around the photo, but that one that was a little bit of a lighter tealy green, it didn't really, I don't know, it didn't fit in with what I wanted it to look like, so I didn't use it. I'm wanting to add a little bit of yellow to all 3 of these areas, and those yellow flowers or dandelion leaves are going to be popped up on foam just at the edges to kind of give a little bit more dimension. And I kind of think I have it how I want it, but I toy with what would it look like if I stuck a picture down inside. And I like that idea too, but then I went back to just putting the leaves in the zippered area, because I really wanted the zipper kind of to stand alone on its own. I don't want to overdo it up in that area. And then I want to draw more attention down to the photograph and have more of the embellishment area down there. I think that kind of, I don't know, balances it out a little bit better for me. So that's why I ended up sticking with the picture down on the bottom right hand side. And plus, if I stuck the photo in the zippered area, I'm not really sure what I would do on the rest of the layout. I'm sure there's something, but in my mind I was like, you know, I don't know what else I would do with the rest of the layout. I'm so used to embellishing around my photograph and having, you know, that visual triangle, that would be very hard to do if I stuck it inside the zipper. Now if I used a longer zipper, I maybe could have had things coming out of that opening and had the zipper go down further on the page, and maybe that's something I'll try down the road. But at this point I used a 7-inch zipper. It's just a plain 7-inch plastic teeth zipper, or plastic toothed zipper, and we just have a bunch of these in my stash. I do share a scrapbook room with my mom, who lives next door. I do filming at my house in my little area, but she has a much larger area, so sometimes I go and raid the boxes over there and pull things, and then we do get together frequently and scrapbook together, and then we have friend groups that meet up over there too, to scrapbook. So the zippers were at her house. I went through the bin, and this is what I came up with, was this 7-inch zipper. She did have some that were quite a bit longer, but this was like the perfect fit and the perfect color. So that's why I chose that one. The leaves that I am tucking into that zippered area, I am putting some foam on the outermost leaves to give a little bit of dimension, so they're not completely flat. They will be flat where they're tucked in, but then as they come out further from the zippered area, there's a little bit more dimension, and I like how that looks. Now I got all of my Chamel stuff from Christina at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, and in my kit she included these adorable little ladybugs, so I had to add some of those, of course, because they are just too cute. Those are not part of the Chamel collection, but they match perfectly, so I just love them and had to add some of those. And then I had cut apart several things off of this sheet of paper that you see me working with right here, and I decided I needed to add this little mason jar down in the bottom right hand corner. And that cut apart sheet is so awesome because there's so many things on there that you could just cut out and use on your page. It's like having another embellishment pack in the collection. You could use it whole as well, but oh my gosh, there's so many goodies on it. I just absolutely love it. So let me tell you a little bit more about this YouTube hop. This is Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. Crystal started this last July. She did a layout every day based on something off of her Pinterest board, and had people playing along all month, and we all loved it so much that we decided to do it the last Wednesday of every month. And it's going strong, and we are really enjoying it. So hopefully this has inspired you to go over to your Pinterest board and check out what you've got on there and be inspired from that. So check out all of the ladies that are down below in my description box. They are playing along as well, and see what they used as inspiration. Some of us use sketches, some of us use architecture, interior design, cards, you name it. There's tons of inspiration to be had. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you like and subscribe. If you do, ring that bell. You'll get notifications that whenever we post these kinds of things, you'll get notifications for other things on my channel as well. I tend to post weekly, so you can check out videos every week that I put out, and I hope that keeps you creating. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day. Stick around for the close-ups. They're coming up in just a moment.